Welcome to Rodis Live. I'm your host, Rodis. Today we have a special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, this is Solo from the Heights, coming from Chicago. I'm out of the South suburbs. I'm a rap artist. I've been doing this for a while. But yeah, Solo from the Heights. You can find me on all platforms, Solo from the Heights.
That's what's up. So I'm from Chicago as well, listeners, as y'all already know. Our city is in turmoil. You know, we got a lot of gentrification going on, and there's a lot of violence. So what do you think the cause of this is, Solo?
Well, everything is normally political. It's if you tap into the other side of learning about how politics work. But with all this senseless violence, as far as young men killing themselves and uh, shooting each other, the other side, which could be the Caucasians, could be any ethnicity group, they don't want that in their neighborhoods. So when they feel that the community has too many problems or it's a few too many Black people in that area, then you have what we call gentrification. They allow the companies and these corporations to come in, buy up the property at a certain value. Everybody that was there, they either raise the rent extremely high where they can't afford it, and then they have to, or after that, then they have to move if they can't afford it. Now you have all these low income people in a certain area or in a certain radius, which are fighting for the same things. Hence, you're gonna have Black on Black violence. You're gonna have violence with anything. You put two dogs in a cage, and if they get hungry enough, you're gonna have them fighting each other. So that's just how it is.
Right. I'm gonna just spit out a couple of headlines. So like this just like a 4-year-old boy got shot in the head, 8 kids died yesterday, 46 people got shot, 3 people got killed. Then this weekend, a 7-year-old boy, he got shot in his sleep, 52 people got shot. Like, damn, what do you think the fix is, or you think it's beyond that?
Honestly, I think every situation has a fix. It's how hard the individuals want to work for that fix. Um, you can blame it on a lot of different factors in the neighborhood that has violence of that nature. Could it be that those people that's out there that's doing crime, that's doing those drive-by shootings, is it that their father left their house early? Is it that the mother wasn't in the family or in their life? Um, or is it that they have mental health issues? Because that's a big deal that we don't deal with. I do believe it's a fix by um, not necessarily everybody wants to say this, you can't be a snitch. Snitching is only allowed if you are of street code. Let's get that clear.
I agree.
Now, for me living in a neighborhood, and I live in a pretty diverse neighborhood. It's pretty
Right,
good. It's not a lot of violence.
right.
But if something happens in the community where you see somebody that comes through and do some unnecessary shooting, or and they accidentally hit somebody or they don't hit anybody, I think as an individual, I don't want to have to be a snitch, as they say, but I have to report this, because if everybody decides to start reporting this and held each other accountable for what they do, I think it'll be a lot less shooting. We
It'll
have to
stop.
It'll stop. We
It'll
have to hold
spook
ourselves
them.
accountable, and our kids and who's ever out there doing it. Somebody has to be accountable for it at the end of the day. And I don't think we take enough accountability, because the people that might actually be shooting is probably part of our community or a nephew or a son. So we more reluctant to say anything. But at some point, you got to stand up. A 4-year-old, 8 children, come on.
Right,
Elderly people getting shot for no reason or robbed. Come on, man, that's sensitive.
right. Yeah, we can't have kings killing kings. So
Absolutely not.
like Black Lives Matter, they always around when a white cop do some shit. My thing is right is right, wrong is wrong. They not nowhere around with all of this stuff going on when we doing it to each other. So I ain't really feeling Black Lives Matter, but ultimately I feel that Black lives do matter. You know what I'm saying? So how did you get your name?
Well, I'm an only child,
Okay.
and I've always been that guy that knew everybody, but I always kind of played the background. Always was on some solitary stuff, almost like an introvert, but I'm very social.
Right. Okay.
Um, and as we was coming up, one of my cousins, when I decided to try to rap, he said, you should be called K Solo because my real name is Kareem. So he's like, you should be called K Solo. So I decided to kind of adopt the name, but it kind of sounded a little corny to me. So I just dropped the K and I've been Solo ever since.
That's what's up. Hey, I respect your storytelling ability. You got a unique style. So can you tell me about some of these songs that you have? Like for example, talk about it.
Um, well, think about it is just
Think about it. I'm sorry.
that's okay. That's just it's an inspiration um from the area that I grew up at, and I had like a lot of stories from a lot of different experience that I experienced in this neighborhood, which has helped mold me to who I am. So it's a lot of times I speak on past experiences. I don't glorify crime. I don't glorify drugs. But if you may happen to hear me say something, this is not what I'm doing now. This is a recollection of stories of my past that I may have once did, but not necessarily doing now. So
You
that's
just
all. Think
you
about it
just
was.
paint
It just was
you just paint a
painting a picture.
picture. Okay.
That's all.
What about feeling good lately?
Feeling good lately is that was inspired by me
I
talking
see
to a
I see you snatch the bag too. I see you snatch the bag in that song.
yeah. So for that one was just an inspiration. I just pretty much wanted to, since I had been out the game so long, I just wanted to let the person know that I could actually just rap. So
Okay.
for me, that song right there, it came from, of course, the inspiration of my neighborhood, but it came from me having a conversation with a little artist that told me that, you know, you need to make some songs, and I would like to hear you make a song like this. So he kind of inspired that song. So there you have feeling good lately.
Okay. Have you ever had any deal situations or been offered any deals or been signed at some point or another?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've been doing this at least like 30 years. And
Okay. It's showing your
and
work.
absolutely. And early on, probably around the year 2000, I actually was gonna sign with Real Deal Records in Evander Holyfield. But of course, me back then thinking I knew as much as I know now, but didn't know anything, the situation didn't actually work out, which was in long terms was better for me because I learned more of how the game should work.
Right.
From that point, I started dealing with producer by the name of LT Hutton, and I wound up getting a deal with the Program Records owned by Elton Brand. The
Okay.
basketball player. That was like 2005, 2006, 2007. Um, was in a group. The group was called The Heights. We had an honorary member by the name of the Brat, this female rapper from Chicago. And after I did the deal, that didn't go as smoothly as I thought it should go. Hence, I kind of stepped away from it, left the game a little bit because I was a little disappointed. And, I lied dormant for a while, but I still kind of played with doing music here and there with my children because I have 6 daughters. All my children rap. I have a son. All of them rap,
You
and all
must
of them are pretty good. Maybe I'm biased because they're my kids, but yeah, all of them rap. So they kind of kept me active as far as like keeping up with new styles and being able to still be versatile. And the music of today's generation, because it's different than when I was actually in my bag doing it. It's a whole different style. So I kind of laid dormant, and my children, they kind of inspired me to come back, and hence you have. That's why I'm back now with music that I have now. Hoping, that it does as well as I think it sounds.
Man, I think it's gonna move, you know what I'm saying? I'm a
Thank
fan
you.
already. I'm a fan.
Thank you. Thank you. I
So,
appreciate that.
no doubt. So coming out of that major or semi-major situation, how have you adapted to the transition of being independent?
Wow. It's a total big difference when you're like 100% independent. And one thing that should be made known, every artist is gonna pay no matter what you're doing. So let's make that clear to all those artists out there that think,
What's that word again? Budget.
yeah, you're gonna have to have a budget. So the thing about the transition of being with someone is that they kind of have a little more control over you, and they're paying for everything. Everything that you don't see and you don't realize is being paid for, they're paying for it. Versus when you're 100% independent, now all of that comes out of your budget. Who's ever helped sponsoring you, who's ever helped investing in you, or if you are investing in yourself. First and foremost, you should invest in yourself. That should be first and foremost. No one wants to invest in anyone who doesn't want to invest in themselves. So you invest in yourself, and it's a lot of things that come with trying to be an artist, being independent. Marketing is a huge part of your budget. The
Yeah.
music is probably 10% making it. It's the marketing process of it that's so much different that I've learned from being with somebody versus being independent. It's a lot different.
Okay. What's your top 5, dead or alive?
Wow. I guess you see, I'm gonna show my age right, and I'm gonna show you the bracket. My bracket. I got Rakim. I got Tupac. I got Kendrick Lamar. I got Scarface. And I'm gonna throw LL Cool J in there just to throw it off, because he's
Hey,
definitely a legend.
that's a good 5 right there. You ain't get no argument from me about it, that one.
Yes, sir.
So who are some of your musical influences with that being said?
Well, the era that I started rapping, you actually had to rap. It wasn't really no catchy beats, no catchy songs. You actually had to be saying something, lyricism. So I'm cut from that cloth of lyrics. I like lyrics. And some of my inspirations was like Big Daddy Kane, Rakim, Lord Finesse, Gangstar, Big L.
Yeah,
I like big pun. Lyricists, people that had Dana Dane, storytellers, people that can really put some words together and not just saying anything that's basic, like pertaining to the newer music of the past few years. I'm not knocking it, because everybody has to do themselves, and I'm all for that. But it was a difference. It was more. I was into more lyricism, back then, and I'm still into that. Hence, that's why I make the music that I make now. I focus more on my lyrics and content than the actual catchiness of the beat.
That's what's up. I saw you at the Voodoo Lounge, and you had them tuned in like the Pied Piper, not R. Kelly, but the Pied Piper. I was like, damn, they listening to this. Do they even understand what the fuck going on? They listening. I know I was listening, but it's hard to get the crowd, when you're not doing something really simplistic and easy.
Absolutely.
So I was like,
That is true.
I'm like, he got me, he got their ass too. Okay.
Yeah, so that's like the battles that I face when I go out, because I'm in a different lane than a lot of what's going on. Not a lot of jumping around in my songs. I'm more of a laid back, not necessarily saying a conscious rapper, but I'm gonna give you it from a grown man. I spit grown man music. I'm gonna give it to you from a grown man's perspective of things that he's done in his life as teenagers and as kids, because I have not forgot what it's to be like to be a kid. You know, as we get older and become parents, we seem to act like we forget about making mistakes and doing the wrong thing. So I still have that in the back of my head. But yeah, the inspiration is definitely there. I am definitely a lyricist.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'll vouch for you with that one.
I
So,
appreciate it.
so what's next for Solo from the Heights? What you got? What you got coming up? What you working on?
Well, right now I'm working on doing another album called Snippets of Life 2.
Okay.
Got some videos that I'm about to shoot, probably one in the next week, week and a half, possibly, maybe even sooner. Got a few shows coming up. I got a show actually October 10th down in Houston.
Okay.
Just dropped an album called Snippets of Life back in March. Did pretty well. Was doing pretty well. Got a video that everybody should go subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, Solo from the Heights. I will subscribe back. I'm very active on YouTube, so you know, you interact with me, I'm definitely gonna interact with you. But that's pretty much it. Working on a few collaborations, and you know, I'm also working with my son. My son is 11, and of course, he's called Lil Solo. He raps, so I spend a lot of my time in the studio working on his project as well, which is pretty much actually finished. But he has to get a little more mixed and mastering, and maybe re-record 1 or 2 songs. But that's pretty much what's next for me. It's the young man.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. What's your Instagram, Facebook?
My Facebook is actually Solo Hikes. You can find me on Instagram as Solo from the Hikes. You can find me on TikTok as Solo from the Hikes. You can find me on pretty much all platforms as Solo from the Hikes.
Okay. If somebody wanted to book you for a show, how do they go about it?
If you want to book me for a show, you can reach me at Kareem780@gmail.com. That's spelled K as in Kareem, A as in Apple, R as in red, I as in ink, E as in Everett, M as in Mark, 780@gmail.com. That's Kareem780@gmail.com if you want to book.
All right.
Absolutely, and I'm coming wherever. It don't matter if it's 1 or 1,000 people. I'm coming to perform. I'm gonna give you the same show I'm gonna give for $100,000, 100,000 people audience versus a 1-person audience. You're gonna get the same thing.
You know what? The smaller crowds is harder to rock.
Absolutely, and I love that. It's more of an intimate feel once you can get them, because there's so much space, there's so many things to be doing. They drinking, they talking, they moving around. Yeah, it is. I enjoy that challenge.
That's what's up. So, hey, we're gonna drop the mic on Riders Live. So what would you like to leave with the listeners? I know you just gave them all your info, but what you want to leave with them? It could be a positive thought, anything.
Absolutely. So what I would like to leave with the people is always believe in yourself. Never listen to anybody that tells you that you can't do it. I know you hear this all the time, people saying that, so it almost becomes like it's cliche, but it's actually true. I didn't do music for about 15 years plus. They told me I was too old, I couldn't make music, the music is different now, nobody wants to hear what I had to say. They kind of like put the cables on me. So it was not a lot of belief in what I wanted to do. But I believed in myself. I created an album. I came back. I've gotten a lot of great response. I've been booked for shows. I've been in Vegas doing shows. I've been in Springfield, Virginia. I've been in Houston. I've been in Boston. And this was all since January of this year. So never believe in anyone telling you you can't do it, because I'm living proof. And I'm of an older generation to still be out here and to jump right back down and be active. You can do whatever you put your heart to it. Just please believe.
Y'all heard it right there from a Laurie seasoned artist, Solo from the Heights. Hey,
Absolutely.
We appreciate you coming on Riders Live. You're more than welcome to come back anytime, brother.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
No doubt. So this has been another episode of Riders Live. Peace.
Peace. Solo from the Heights.